Hey troops, Carol from Bee Cancer Boot Camp, out here on a muggy day, another Wednesday in June, although it feels much later than that. Here to talk to you about a couple of different things. First of all, exercising in the heat and the humidity. Now, you're probably thinking, well, why would I do that? If that is your only choice of getting out to exercise is when the weather is less than desirable for what you like it, you have to be smart about it. Obviously, going outside earlier in the day, later in the evening, two ways to avoid that. Make sure you are drinking enough water. You need to drink like 17 to 20 ounces of water before, 2 hours before you decide to do any type of activity. And then while you're doing that activity, another 7 to 10 ounces every 10 to 20 minutes, probably about 20 minutes. You need that, and then make sure you continue drinking that water after you are done exercising. So don't avoid it because it's summer. You need to get outside. We need to stay active. We need to get you back in shape for boot camp. So what we're going to do today in that regard is work on hip hinges to tighten up these glutes here and lunges. I know you are waiting and excited to get back to lunges. So now, again, if you want to do any kind of a warm-up, going back to that whole idea of the heat and the humidity, go into it slower. Warm up for a slower pace. So maybe start off with some marching, bringing the knees up, swinging those arms. Do a couple of squats, making sure the weight is on the heels and the knees stay over the toes. Whatever you need to do to get that body warmed up. But when we talk about lunges, we're going to work on the mechanics of that so that you're doing it properly because, face it, I bet you're not doing it all the time at home, and it's been a long time since I've seen you. So, starting off with that idea of the lunge, you are going to, I'll show it to you two different ways. Come down on one knee. Now, if you're already groaning, have a chair nearby. You want your weight on the bent knee, obviously. This knee is at 90 degrees with a heel right underneath there. From here, now I know that your tendency is going to be to push up like that, and initially maybe that's what's going to happen, but eventually you want to get to pushing through this heel, pushing up, feeling that glute working right here as you come up to standing. Then you're going to come back down again, and if you need to, you can start off with two knees down, bring one up, so this is in that 90-degree position, and the ankle is underneath the knee. Engage right here. Pull that tight. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze that pelvic floor, and push up through that heel. You're going to do that 10 to 12 times on each side. Let me take you to a forward view of that. I'll even use the other knee. Now, I've been having problems with my one knee because I taught too many classes or something. Again, keep that in mind as you are working on different things. Front knee above the ankle. You're going to push through that heel, push up. Now, that did not feel good because I didn't have, this is my sore knee right now, and I'm on a concrete surface, but you get the idea, and you can see that I'm a little tender there. Front knee here, push up through the heel. The glute is firing up right here, push up. Focus on this form, tight core, keep the chest up. Try to avoid pushing up here like this, if you can. Initially, again, if you have to, or if you need a chair close by, tall spine, engage the core, push up through that heel, feel that glute engaged, step forward. That's your first step. Then we're going to do it from a standing position. So after you've done 10 to 12 of those, at least twice, you're going to go into a standing position. You're going to take a step forward. You're going to drop this knee down. So you're going to kind of push your hips back, drop the knee down. It can be touching or you can just be hovering over there. Come back up, step forward, drop the knee down, core is engaged, you're pushing up to the heel, bring it up. So taking it the other way, nice and tall in the spine. Take a step forward, make sure your feet are hip width apart, plant that foot. You're going to kind of push your hips back, drop that knee down, push up through the heel, step forward. Plant that foot, engage, hinge at the hips here, push up. So walk out a couple of steps on each side and then come back. Try to do, again, 10 to 12 repetitions on each side. Now another way to work on the lunges is a reverse lunge. Now that was the forward lunge. That's great because what do you do when you walk? You're coming here, we're walking, right? Again, if your joints are yelling at you, what you can do is just come down part way, but you want to make sure this knee stays over that ankle. You don't want this happening to try to bring this down. That's going to put a lot of strain on that knee. So bringing it down right here. So when we work on this reverse lunge, that will probably help that a little bit. So for the reverse lunge, I will come at you from the side view. Have support nearby if you need it. Feet are hip width apart. You're going to take a step back. And from here, you're going to have that wide stance, back as far as you need to drop that back knee down and keep this front knee over the ankle. Back foot is on the ball of your foot. Drop down. You're pushing up like we did before from that heel, pushing up right here. You're going to feel the back leg helping somewhat, but come up here. Sideways view. Step back, engage the core. Make sure your feet are hip width apart, not heel to toe, not stacked like this. Drive it down. Push up through that heel. Down and up. Down and up. Down and up. Now, if you're really good there, your next step is to bring that foot forward. Down, up, back, down, up. Controlling it the whole time. So, start off 10 to 12 repetitions just in that static position. If you feel really good with one set, the next set, go into that movement where you are taking that step forward. So down, up, down, I'm downhill. Our driveway goes downhill. So down here, knee or ankle, push up, down, up, step forward. Step back, push up. If you have arthritis in that knee or something that doesn't want to bend as much, go as low as you can. Focus on pushing, sticking this butt so you've got a 90-degree angle in the hip area, 90-degree angle here. Drop that down, push up. So again, do that first set with that static, with that staggered position, just staying in place. The second set, 10 to 12, try to step forward. If you can't, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Now another way to tighten up the glute and even to help the back a little bit is the hip hinge. And I think we might have talked about this before. So with the hip hinge, you stand with your feet hip width apart, pull your belly in, engage the pelvic floor, tighten the core. You're going to stick your butt back like you're trying to touch something behind you. Your shoulder blades are pulled back, pinched together, and you stick it back, push up through the hips. This is a squat. This is a hip hinge. Soft knee, sticking that butt back as far as you can. Shoulders are back is flat. We don't want to be here. Nice and tall back. One thing that would help you is if you have a stick and you hold it on your back with the back of your head, your shoulders, and your tailbone touching. You're going to try to keep that stick in line with your body the whole time. Pull the belly in, stick the butt back, bring it on up. So right here, you're working on those glutes. You're keeping that back nice and straight and safe. You're feeling those glutes working right here. Take it a step further. One leg. So for that single leg hinge, put the foot back, engage the core. Soft supporting knee, hinge, come up. A lot of people try, when they're doing this, instead of hinging, you see how I stuck my butt back? they lean forward, and the center of gravity is going to pull them over. Nice and tall. Put the foot back, nice and long in the body. Stick that butt back a little bit, and hinge. Up. Hinge. Up. Now you can put your arms wherever you need to keep that balance. Again, push that butt back versus leaning your chest forward. Because right away, as you try this, you're going to feel the pressure on your toes. If you take that weight and push your hips back, the weight's going to be over your ankle. It's going to be easier to keep the balance. The other thing to watch for is the positioning of the hips. I work at the YMCA. I have seen a lot of people do single leg deadlifts like that, and what I'm seeing is, I'm not even sure if I can demonstrate it here properly, is they come down, one hip is, the hips are opened out so that the hip that they are hinging on is closer to the floor and the other one is lifted up higher. So they're coming out like this. If I do it sideways, it's like this. You don't want that. That's not activating that glute. Turn those hips, square them to the floor. Again, tighten that spine. Stick your butt back a little bit. And keep those hips parallel to the floor as you lift up. Now you can hold it, or you can come up. If you really focus on that hinge of pushing the hips back, keeping the body straight, keep your center of gravity over that ankle, that hip hinge is going to be a lot easier. Now, why would you walk around doing this? Well, you know what? Because I've seen a lot of people walking around doing things in the yard, picking up garbage in the house, picking up things out in the yard, debris that's falling around. We had a windy night last night. There's maybe some sticks out there. One way you can do that, engage, soften that supporting knee, lengthen the spine, hinge, come on down, and come up. Keep the shoulders, hips in a parallel line, and keep that body nice and straight. The minute you feel pressure on your toes, you're leaning forward too much. Do that hip hinge, stick that butt back, feel the difference. You're going to be able to control it a lot better. With anything, go for 10 to 12 repetitions twice. Take a rest in between, drink water in between, but keep working at it. So again, I'll start off with that position of being on the floor, working on just pushing up. Feel your glutes fired up as you push up, working on pushing through the heel. So you're just going to stay here. You can come up, you can just come up to stand or whatever. Just really feel down, all the way up. Touch the knee down and push up. Do the same amount on each side. Now, if one side is weaker, do a little bit extra work on that weak side. So if you're finding one side is harder, that means you got to work more on that side. Push up through that heel. Feel that glute working. This is the way you do those lunges. After you have perfected that, you're going to go into the walking lunge, where you step forward, drop the knee down. You see how it's 90 degrees and 90 degrees. Your core is engaged. Your chest is tall. Step up. Step forward. Down. Step up. It's going to help open those hip flexors. You don't have to take a big, giant step forward, 10 to 12 at that level. Once you've completed that, you're going to go on to the reverse lunge. Starting off in that staggered position, tight core, knee above ankle, drop down, push up. Drop down, push up. Each side, same amount. If you find a weakness, or maybe even a tightness, work on that side a little bit more. Right now I'm getting some tightness in my knee here, so I probably have to spend a little bit more time getting that to loosen up. Knee over ankle. Hips are hinged. You want that 90-degree angle there. Once you've done 10 to 12 repetitions, a couple sets there, maybe even one set, try to go into that whole motion of stepping back, dropping down, coming up. Stepping back, dropping down, coming up. So it's back, always slow and controlled. Nice and easy. Core is engaged, tall spine, hinging at the hip, bringing that leg back. All right? And then you're going to go on to that hip hinge, working out where you are standing with your feet hip width apart, body is tight and engaged, soft knees, not locked, soft. Stick the butt back with a straight back. Do 10 to 12 of those. Then move on to the single leg bridge. Keeping the hips and shoulders square to the floor. Make sure you're hinging so the weight's on that heel, not leaning forward with your chest so the weight is on the toe. 10 to 12 repetitions there. Always, always, always drinking a lot in between. So I hope you are trying to stay cool. I hope you are still getting outside even though the weather might not be your liking. Some people absolutely love the heat and the humidity. I did a bike ride today instead of running because the humidity does not agree with me. So keep active. Remember to drink lots of water when it's really warm like this, when the humidity is one of the hardest environments to exercise in. But don't stop, because you want to, even though you have to lower the intensity a little bit, you want to keep that activity. If you work on something just as simple as lunges here, you're going to be gaining a whole lot of strength that's going to help when you come back to boot camp. All right, for now, I hope you are staying safe, I hope you're staying healthy, and I hope you are staying strong. Catch you next time.